before the signs had names, before the horoscope columns in magazines, before astrologers spoke of sun signs and personality traits, the sky itself was a living scripture. To the ancients, every star was a word, every constellation a sentence. And the zodiac, the great wheel of 12, was not entertainment. It was initiation. Across the cradle of civilization, the same pattern emerged. Mesopotamian priests charted the heavens with cuneiform tablets. Egyptian astronomer priests aligned temples with Sirius and Orion. Vedic seers encoded stellar wisdom into the nakshatras. And woven through it all, always, was the serpent. Why? Because, for the ancients, the serpent was not simply a creature of the earth. It was a symbol of the sky itself, a cosmic current, a fiery path of stars, a mirror of something hidden in the body. The serpent in the sky. Lift your eyes to the northern heavens on a clear night, and you will find it, Draco, the great celestial serpent, winding around the north pole of the sky. Its coils encircle the axis mundi, the still point around which the entire starry dome turns. To the Greeks, this was Ladon, the dragon who guarded the golden apples in the garden of the Hesperides. To the Egyptians, it was Apep, the chaos serpent who battled Ra. To the Norse, it was Jormungandr, the world serpent coiling around creation. Different myths, one archetype, a serpent coiled around the heavens, guarding the gates of immortality. And below, in the human body, the same image, Kundalini, the serpent fire, coiled at the base of the spine, guarding the hidden fruit of awakening. Above, a serpent of stars. Below, a serpent of fire. Two mirrors, one reality. The wheel of 12. The zodiac, the belt of constellations that the sun, moon, and planets travel through, was seen as the great cosmic clock. But to the ancients, it was more than timing. It was a story. Aries, the ram, marked the head. The beginning, ignition, fire. Taurus, the bull, the throat, voice, resonance, embodiment. Gemini, the twins, arms, lungs, the dual currents. Cancer, the crab, chest, home, waters. Leo, the lion, heart, courage, flame. Virgo, the virgin, intestines, purity, harvest. Libra, the scales, spine, balance, justice. Scorpio, the scorpion, sexual center, transformation, death. Sagittarius, the archer, hips, journey, vision. Capricorn, the goat, knees, endurance, ascent. Aquarius, the water bearer, Calves, currents, higher mind. Pisces, the fish, feet, dissolution, return to ocean. Each sign corresponded to a body part, and together they formed the cosmic man, the macrocosm reflected in the microcosm. And at the center of this wheel coiled the serpent, not just in the stars above, but in the spine below. The hidden fire. The ancients spoke of a fire hidden at the root of creation. In Vedic hymns, it was Agni, the fire god, hidden in the waters, hidden in the plants, hidden in the human body itself. In Egypt, it was the Djed pillar, an upright column symbolizing the spine, topped with a serpent crown. In Greece, it was the Promethean fire, stolen from the heavens to awaken mankind. In Norse myth, it was the serpent Nidhogg gnawing at the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree whose branches stretched to the stars. This fire was not ordinary flame, it was living vibration, a resonance, a current. The zodiac marked its outer cycles. Kundalini marked its inner ascent. Both were expressions of the same hidden fire. The zodiac as inner map. To the modern mind, astrology is often dismissed as superstition, but to the ancients, it was the highest science. The zodiac was not primarily about predicting romance or careers. It was about tracking the currents of the serpent through the body and the cosmos. When the sun entered Aries, the fire stirred in the head. When it entered Leo, the heart opened. When it entered Scorpio, the serpent tested sexuality and transformation. The sky was not separate from the self. The 12 signs were 12 gates of initiation, marking the serpent's journey through the human form. The stars outside were teachers of the fire within. The serpent and the stars. It is no coincidence that so many cultures saw serpents in the constellations. Not only Draco, but also Hydra, the longest constellation in the sky, winding nearly a quarter of the celestial sphere, and Ophiuchus, the forgotten 13th sign, depicting a man wrestling a great serpent. Why was Ophiuchus excluded from the zodiac? Some scholars suggest it was because 13 did not fit neatly into a 12-month calendar. But esoteric traditions whisper another reason. Ophiuchus represented mastery of the serpent, the healer who held the fire without being destroyed by it. To walk the path of Kundalini is to become Ophiuchus, wrestling, taming, and ultimately uniting with the serpent. To become both healer and awakened one. The fire above, the fire below. Ancient stargazers did not separate heaven and earth the way we do. For them, the Milky Way was the great serpent river flowing across the sky, and it was mirrored by the spinal river within. The 12 signs above were mirrored by the 12 gates of the body below. The serpent of the stars mirrored the serpent of Kundalini. And at the center of it all was the same mystery, the hidden fire of transformation. Why the serpent? Why was the serpent chosen above all animals to symbolize this cosmic force? Because the serpent sheds its skin, it dies and is reborn. Because it moves in waves, like frequency, like vibration. Because its form coils, like DNA, like the spine. The serpent was the most perfect metaphor for the energy that slumbers, awakens, and transforms. To fear the serpent is to fear transformation. To embrace the serpent is to embrace destiny. The invitation of the stars. Look up at the night sky. See the serpent winding among the stars. Then close your eyes and feel the serpent coiled at the base of your spine. The ancients would tell you, they are the same. The stars are your spine turned inside out. The zodiac is not separate from you. It is your own body written in light. The celestial serpent invites you to remember. The hidden fire asks to be awakened. The 12 signs are not fate, but doorways. Above and below, serpent and fire, the journey begins. We have traced the beginnings of the serpent in the heavens, the celestial dragon, the serpent constellations, the zodiac as a mirror of the human form. But this is only the first step. In the next chapter, we will descend deeper into the 12 gates of the spine, where the zodiac is not written in stars, but in bone and breath, blood and fire. For the serpent above waits for the serpent below, and when they meet, destiny is fulfilled. The body as zodiac. The ancients did not see the human form as random flesh and bone. They saw it as a living temple, a mirror of the cosmos. Every star had a resonance in the body, every constellation an echo in muscle and marrow. And the 12 signs of the zodiac, etched across the heavens as the great wheel of time, were also etched into the spine as 12 gates of fire. To them, the body was not separate from the stars. It was the stars incarnated. As above, so below was not just philosophy, it was physiology. The zodiac was not only in the sky, it was in you. 12 signs, 12 gates. The human spine is not just support, it is a ladder. 33 vertebrae rising like rungs toward the crown. Along its length, the serpent of Kundalini coils and rises. But this ascent is not random. It moves through gates, energetic thresholds that correspond not only to chakras, but to the 12 signs of the zodiac. The old astrologer priests whispered that to master the heavens, one must master the gates of the spine. Each zodiac sign is a lock, each vertebrae is a rung, and Kundalini is the key. Let us walk through them, sign by sign. Aries, the first flame. Head, crown, initiation. Aries begins the zodiac at the head, It is ignition, spark, the first impulse. In the body, Aries governs the skull and the crown of the spine. It is the gate of inspiration. When Kundalini touches Aries, it sets fire to thought. Sudden flashes of vision, creative surges, awakenings that feel like lightning in the brain. This is the ram breaking through, the fire that insists on birth. Taurus, the voice of resonance. Throat, expression. Taurus, the bull, governs the throat. It is the power of sound, of vibration turned to speech. The ancients knew that creation began not with matter, but with word, with Om, with logos. When Kundalini rises into Taurus, the throat resonates. Mantras flow with power. The voice heals. Frequency becomes medicine. This is the bull's roar, stable, grounding, yet capable of shaking mountains when aligned. Gemini, the breath of twins, lungs, dual currents. Gemini rules the arms, lungs, and breath. It is the dual current, the twins that mirrored the Ida and Pingala, the left and right channels of energy winding around the spine. When Kundalini enters Gemini, breath deepens, polarity is understood. The seeker learns the dance between inhale and exhale, left and right, masculine and feminine. The twins are reconciled in rhythm. Cancer, the shell of waters, chest, heart protection. Cancer, the crab, governs the chest and the ribs, the protective shell around the heart. It is the gate of emotion, of belonging, of the ocean tides reflected in the blood. When Kundalini touches Cancer, emotions surge like waves. Old grief may flood, ancestral memory may surface, but when navigated, the heart softens, the shell opens, the inner waters cleanse. Leo, the solar heart, spine, radiance. Leo rules the heart itself, the great furnace of the body. In Kundalini, it is the gate where fire becomes flame of love. Here the serpent ignites courage, joy, radiance. The chest expands, the spine straightens, the inner sun burns bright. The lion roars, not with domination, but with sovereign presence. This is the heart as solar temple. Virgo, the womb of purity, abdomen, integration. Virgo governs the intestines and digestion. It is the sign of discernment, purity, integration. In the body, it is the alchemy of what we take in and what we release. When Kundalini rises here, the seeker learns discernment. Not all energies should be absorbed. Purification, fasting, ritual cleansing, all are Virgo's tools. The serpent here teaches that awakening is not just power, but purity of channel. Libra, the scales of the spine, balance, alignment. Libra rules the kidneys, lower back, and the very balance of the spine. It is the gate of harmony, the midpoint between above and below. When Kundalini passes through Libra, alignment becomes essential. The seeker feels imbalance keenly. Relationships mirror inner symmetry. The serpent pauses at this gate, demanding equilibrium. Only when the scales are balanced can the ascent continue. Scorpio, the gate of death and rebirth. Sexual center, transformation. Scorpio rules the reproductive organs, the mysteries of sex, death, and regeneration. This is the most feared gate and the most powerful. Here, Kundalini stirs the waters of desire. Raw sexual force rises. If misused, it consumes. If transmuted, it becomes rocket fuel for ascension. Scorpio is the sting of death, but also the gateway to immortality. It is where the serpent either devours you or transforms you. Sagittarius, the archer's vision, hips, direction. Sagittarius governs the hips and thighs, the power of movement and journey. It is the sign of quest, of vision beyond horizons. When Kundalini passes this gate, the seeker feels expansion, restlessness, the urge to seek, to pilgrimage, to quest for truth. The hips become channels of freedom. The serpent here aims its arrow upward, reminding us that awakening is a journey without end. Capricorn, the mountain gate, knees, discipline. Capricorn rules the knees and bones, the structures that carry weight and allow ascent. It is the gate of discipline, endurance, patience. Here, Kundalini demands persistence. The path is not glamorous. It is a mountain to be climbed, step by step, knee by knee. Capricorn is the serpent's reminder. Only through endurance is the summit reached. Aquarius, the waters of the future. Calves, collective current. Aquarius governs the calves and circulation, the currents of blood and energy that connect the whole body. It is the sign of collective awakening, of shared current. When Kundalini touches Aquarius, visions of humanity's future appear. The seeker feels currents not just of self, but of group, of species. The serpent whispers, "You are not only you, you are a cell in a greater body." Pisces, the feet of surrender, return, dissolution. Pisces rules the feet, the final step, the return to ocean. It is dissolution, compassion, the merging back into the whole. When Kundalini completes its cycle in Pisces, the seeker releases control. The serpent uncoils, merging with the ocean of being. The feet, which carry us on earth, dissolve into cosmic waters. Here, destiny ends where it began, in infinite ocean. The ascent through 12. To pass these 12 gates is to walk the zodiac within the body. Each sign is not just external astrology, it is internal initiation. Kundalini ascends like the sun through the 12 houses. Each year, each lifetime, the serpent rises a little higher, unlocking another gate. The zodiac is not fortune-telling, it is a manual for awakening. The zodiacal body. Mystics of old drew the zodiac man, a figure whose body was aligned to the 12 signs. Aries at the head, Pisces at the feet. The ancients taught that the stars were not distant. They were our anatomy, turned outward. To awaken Kundalini is to awaken the zodiacal body. To feel Aries ignite in the skull, Taurus resonate in the throat, Leo blaze in the heart, Scorpio transform in the depths, Pisces dissolve at the feet. You are the zodiac incarnate. The serpent climbs through your gates, just as the sun travels through the heavens. The invitation of the 12 gates. Look at the stars tonight. Trace the wheel of 12 in the sky. Then close your eyes and trace the same wheel in your spine. Feel the serpent waiting at the first gate. Feel the promise of its journey through all 12. The ancients knew you do not need to go to the heavens to walk the zodiac. You only need to walk your spine. The serpent knows the path. The fire remembers. The 12 gates await. The forgotten guardians above. The ancients did not see the heavens as empty. They saw guardians. Dragons, serpents, and celestial beasts coiled across the sky. When we look at the constellations today, many have faded into abstraction. Dots and lines, zodiacal mascots for horoscopes. But for ancient stargazers, the serpent constellations were alive. And above them all, Draco, the dragon serpent, winds around the north pole of the heavens. For thousands of years, long before Polaris became our pole star, the stars of Draco encircled the eternal axis. To watch the sky was to see the serpent circle eternity. Draco was not myth alone. It was a cosmic mirror of the serpent coiled in the spine, circling the axis of bone. Draco, the eternal coil. To the Greeks, Draco was Ladon, the serpent who guarded the golden apples of immortality in the garden of the Hesperides. He was slain by Heracles in one of his 12 labors. To the Egyptians, this same coil of stars was Apep, the chaos serpent, whom Ra battled each night to secure the sunrise. To the Norse, it was Nidhogr, gnawing at the roots of Yggdrasil. Different tongues, one archetype, the serpent around the tree, guarding the fruit of eternity. And within us, Kundalini is that serpent, coiled at the root, guarding the fruit of Gnosis at the crown. Above and below, the myth repeats. Hydra, the longest serpent. Stretching nearly a quarter of the sky is Hydra, the water serpent. Ancient cultures traced its immense coils through the night as the endless flow of life. In the spine, Hydra corresponds to the long path the serpent must climb. In myth, it was the many-headed Hydra slain by Heracles. In truth, it symbolizes the many obstacles, the Hydra-headed illusions that Kundalini must pierce on the way upward. The serpent is never singular. It is legion, a force that confronts us in many guises. Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. But perhaps the most intriguing of all is the constellation Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. Here we see not just a serpent, but a man wrestling it. His arms stretch wide, holding the coils of a giant snake. Ophiuchus is a healer. In Greek myth, he is Asclepius, son of Apollo, trained in the arts of healing so profound that he could raise the dead. His symbol? A staff with a serpent entwined, a caduceus-like image that remains the emblem of medicine today. Why then is Ophiuchus excluded from the official zodiac? Why do we speak of 12 signs instead of 13? The esoteric answer: because Ophiuchus is not a stage of the cycle. He is the master of the cycle. He represents the one who has tamed the serpent, who has held its power without being consumed. He is not fate, he is freedom. To walk the path of Kundalini is to become Ophiuchus, one who bears the serpent, one who transforms poison into medicine, death into resurrection. The 13th sign. Astrologers today sometimes debate whether Ophiuchus should be recognized as the 13th sign. But in truth, he was always present, hidden, forgotten, veiled. The ancients encoded him, but later systems streamlined the zodiac to 12 for convenience of calendar and ritual. But initiates whispered, the 13th is the secret gate. 12 signs mark the cycle of ordinary existence. The 13th is transcendence. It is the moment when the serpent no longer coils around us, but within us. It is when we stop being acted upon by the stars and begin acting with them. This is the mystery of Ophiuchus. He is not a star sign to be born under. He is a sign to be awakened into. The staff and the serpent. Across cultures, the image recurs, a staff with a serpent entwined. The caduceus of Hermes, 2 serpents around a rod. The rod of Asclepius, 1 serpent twined around the healer's staff. The bronze serpent of Moses, lifted in the wilderness to heal the afflicted. The uraeus cobra of the pharaoh's crown, serpent at the brow as symbol of awakened kingship. Why this staff and serpent motif repeated across continents? Because it is the spine and Kundalini. The staff is the spinal column. The serpent is the energy that climbs it. And the crown, the brow, the pineal, the open eye, is the awakened fruit. Every culture told the same story in different tongues. The stars above bore witness to the serpent, and the body below bore its reflection. Suppression of the serpent. But as with all powerful symbols, the serpent was demonized. The healer's staff became associated with temptation in the Garden of Eden. The cosmic serpent was recast as Satan. To suppress the serpent in the stars was to suppress the serpent in the spine. To erase Ophiuchus was to erase the knowledge of healing. To demonize Draco was to frighten humanity from its own axis of fire. But the archetype cannot be destroyed. It returns again and again, in dreams, in visions, in myths. The serpent cannot be silenced. The serpent and DNA. Modern science, without intending to, has stumbled upon the same symbol. DNA, the double helix of life, looks like two serpents twined around a staff. It is Ophiuchus etched into the cell. The serpent is not only in the stars or in the spine, it is in every strand of your being. Every cell is a staff and serpent, every life a ladder, every destiny an initiation. The ancients knew what we are only rediscovering. The serpent is the code of life itself. The forgotten zodiac. What, then, is the forgotten zodiac? It is not merely Ophiuchus as a missing sign. It is the deeper truth that the zodiac is not about prediction, but transformation. 12 signs bind us to cycles, seasons, fates, destinies. But the 13th, the serpent bearer, invites us to step outside of time. The forgotten zodiac is the map of transcendence. It is the path of the serpent from coil to crown, from sky to soul. It is what the ancients encoded, what the priests guarded, what modernity has dismissed as myth. But myths are truths wrapped in story. And this one tells us the stars do not dictate, they invite. The invitation of Ophiuchus is to look up at Ophiuchus, to see your own destiny, to wrestle with the serpent, to tame it, to be healed by it, and to become healer yourself. This is why Kundalini awakening often feels like both battle and blessing. The serpent rises with chaos, but if embraced, it becomes medicine. Ophiuchus is not forgotten. He waits in the sky. He waits in the spine. He waits in your DNA. We have traced Draco encircling eternity, Hydra flowing endlessly, Ophiuchus wrestling the serpent of healing. We have seen how the serpent was suppressed, forgotten, yet always returning. In the next chapter, we will bring the zodiac down from myth to initiation, the 12 signs as 12 steps of Kundalini rising, each a gate of transformation, each a rung on the serpent's ladder of light. For the stars are not far, they are in your bones, and the serpent of the heavens coils still, waiting to rise within you. The zodiac, not as fate, but as path. The zodiac is often seen as a wheel of destiny, a cycle of personality and prediction. But hidden beneath the horoscopes is a far older teaching. The zodiac was never meant to tell you who you are. It was meant to show you what you can become. The ancients saw the zodiac as 12 gates of transformation. Just as the sun moves through the 12 signs in a year, so too the serpent of Kundalini moves through the 12 stages of the human body and soul. Each sign is an initiation, a trial, a flame to be passed through. To awaken Kundalini is to walk the zodiac from within. Aries, the ignition. The serpent begins at Aries, the ram, the head, the spark, the birth of fire. Here, Kundalini ignites with a sudden surge. The seeker feels flashes of inspiration, dizzying visions, the mind struck by lightning. Aries is courage, the will to begin. The fire leaps from dormant ember into living flame. This is the first initiation, daring to awaken.
Taurus, the voice of creation. When the serpent enters Taurus, it arrives at the throat. Taurus is stability, the bull's grounded strength, but also resonance, the power of sound. The seeker discovers mantra, chant, song. The serpent vibrates the vocal cords, teaching that sound is not mere expression, it is creation itself. Here the initiate learns that to speak is to shape reality. The second initiation, claiming your voice as divine instrument. Gemini, the dance of dual currents. Gemini, the twins, governs the arms, lungs, and breath. When Kundalini stirs here, the seeker encounters polarity. Inhale and exhale, left and right, masculine and feminine. This is the serpent teaching rhythm. The twins are not enemies, they are currents weaving together. Ida and Pingala, the twin serpents, begin their dance. Harmony emerges from duality. The third initiation, learning balance in breath, thought, and polarity.
The opening of the heart shell. Cancer, the crab, is chest and ribs, protection around the heart. As the serpent rises here, old grief, ancestral memory, and emotional tides surge forth. The seeker feels vulnerability. The shell cracks. Tears flow, but within the flood, compassion is born. The heart no longer hides, it begins to glow. The fourth initiation, to feel deeply, to let the waters cleanse, to open the heart. Leo, the radiant flame. Leo the lion rules the heart itself, the furnace of love and courage. Here the serpent becomes solar. Energy bursts forth as charisma, courage, creativity. The seeker radiates joy like the sun, no longer hiding, but shining. Leo's roar is not domination, but self-sovereignty. The fifth initiation, to become radiant, a sun in human form. Virgo, the virgin, governs the intestines and digestion. Here the serpent demands purity, not of morality, but of vessel. The seeker becomes sensitive to what enters body and mind. Toxic food, toxic thoughts, toxic company, all are rejected. Discernment is the gift. Virgo refines the channel so that the serpent may rise unimpeded. The sixth initiation, purification and integration. Libra, the balance. Libra rules the kidneys and lower back, the literal balance of the spine. When Kundalini reaches Libra, equilibrium becomes law. The seeker feels every imbalance magnified, in body, in relationship, in life. To continue, the scales must be leveled. Inner harmony is demanded. The seventh initiation, alignment with truth, balance in all realms. Scorpio, the death and resurrection. Scorpio, the scorpion, governs the reproductive organs. This is the gate of sex, death, and transformation. Here, the serpent burns hottest. Desire flares, power awakens. The seeker faces shadow, obsession, temptation. To misuse the energy is to fall into chaos. To transmute it is to pass through death and rise reborn. The eighth initiation, transforming raw desire into alchemical power. Sagittarius, the archer's vision. Sagittarius, the archer, rules the hips and thighs, the power of movement, of journey. The serpent here becomes questing fire. The seeker feels restless, drawn toward pilgrimage, toward philosophy, toward the horizon. Vision expands, truths widen. The serpent teaches that awakening is not only inward, but outward, a great journey. The ninth initiation, to become a seeker of truth beyond borders. Capricorn, the ascent of the mountain. Capricorn, the goat, governs the knees, the structures that climb. Here, the serpent slows. The seeker feels the weight of discipline. Capricorn demands endurance. There are no shortcuts. Each step must be earned. The serpent tests patience. To rise here is to endure, to climb the mountain one stone at a time. The 10th initiation, perseverance, mastery through endurance. Aquarius, the waters of humanity. Aquarius, the water-bearer, governs the calves and circulation, the flow of currents through the whole body. When Kundalini rises here, the seeker feels connection to the collective. The serpent's current expands beyond self, into group, into species. Visions of humanity's future appear. The individual becomes part of the cosmic current. The 11th initiation, embracing collective destiny, becoming vessel for higher flow. Pisces, the ocean of return. Pisces, the fish, rules the feet, the point of contact with earth and the step into dissolution. At the final gate, the serpent dissolves into ocean. The seeker surrenders ego, merges into infinite. Compassion, transcendence, and unity flow like tides. The serpent is no longer rising, it is swimming in the cosmic sea. The 12th initiation, surrender into oneness, becoming ocean itself. The spiral, not the circle. The zodiac is often seen as a circle, endlessly repeating, but to the awakened, it is a spiral. Each time the serpent cycles through Aries to Pisces, it does not return to the same point, it rises higher. The 12 signs are not just stages of fate, they are rungs of ascent. With each turn of the wheel, the serpent grows more luminous. The serpent's ascent as zodiacal symphony. Imagine it now. Aries igniting the spark, Taurus giving it sound, Gemini weaving duality, Cancer opening emotion, Leo blazing heart, Virgo purifying, Libra balancing, Scorpio transforming, Sagittarius questing, Capricorn enduring, Aquarius expanding, Pisces dissolving. This is not astrology as prediction. This is astrology as initiation. It is the serpent song written in stars and sung in your spine. We have walked the zodiac as inner ladder, 12 gates within mirroring 12 signs above. The serpent does not merely move through chakras. It moves through constellations of being. In the next chapter, we must ask, why was this knowledge hidden? Why did astrology fall into ridicule, serpent symbols into demonization? To understand Kundalini and the zodiac fully, we must pass through the shadow, the suppression of the cosmic code. The silence of the serpent. In Babylon, priests read the stars as divine law. In Egypt, Pharaoh's power was legitimated by alignment with Sirius, Orion, and the Jed. In Vedic India, the nakshatras guided kings and commoners alike. Astrology was not fortune-telling. It was governance, medicine, destiny. It was a system that placed cosmic cycles at the heart of human life. But as empires grew, as power centralized, astrology became threatening. If everyone could read the stars, who needed priests? If everyone could feel the serpent in the spine, who needed temples? Control demanded suppression. The demonization of the serpent. The serpent, once sacred, was recast as sinister. In Mesopotamia, Tiamat, the primordial dragon of creation, was slain by Marduk, who built order from her carcass. In Hebrew scripture, the serpent of Eden became tempter, deceiver, enemy of God. In Christian tradition, the serpent was equated with Satan himself. Yet older traditions remembered differently. The serpent gave Eve fruit from the tree of knowledge, knowledge hidden, forbidden, but liberating. The serpent was not enemy, but initiator. By demonizing the serpent, authorities redirected humanity's fear inward. People were taught to mistrust their own fire, their own body, their own spine. Ophiuchus, erased. The 13th constellation, Ophiuchus, the serpent-bearer, was quietly excised from the zodiac. Why? Because Ophiuchus symbolized healing, mastery, the human holding the serpent without fear. To include him would remind humanity that the serpent is medicine, not menace. To exclude him reinforced the cycle of bondage, the 12 signs without the transcendent 13th. Suppression is rarely blunt. It is subtle. Ophiuchus was not destroyed. He was simply omitted, leaving the serpent unresolved, forgotten. The Church and the Stars. As Christianity rose, the Church inherited the Roman suspicion of astrology. Councils condemned it as pagan. Priests warned that to look to the stars was to fall into heresy. Yet paradox lingered. Cathedrals were built with zodiacal windows, saints' feast days aligned with solstices and equinoxes. The cosmic code could not be fully erased, only hidden in plain sight. Meanwhile, the serpent was painted as devil. The staff of healing became staff of temptation. The Jed became demonized. The caduceus survived only in medicine, stripped of its esoteric meaning.
Islam and the Starry Science. In the Islamic Golden Age, astrology flourished. Scholars in Baghdad and Cordoba mapped the heavens, calculated planetary cycles, and wove astrology into medicine. But even here, attention grew. Orthodoxy warned against divination, branding it shirk. The serpent of the stars, once venerated, became dangerous again. Knowledge was permitted only within narrow confines. Cosmic science survived, but hidden in coded texts, allegories, talismans. Science against the stars. With the Enlightenment, Western science declared war on astrology. The serpent was slain again, this time not by theology, but by reason. Astrology was banished as pseudoscience. The zodiac was reduced to myth. Stars became mere gas, stripped of meaning. The spine was biology, not ladder. Yet, even in this banishment, the archetype endured. DNA revealed itself as a double serpent. Physics discovered vibration at the heart of matter. Neuroscience uncovered resonance in the brain. The serpent returned, wearing the mask of science.
Why suppression was necessary? Why did rulers and systems of power fear the serpent and the stars? Because if humanity remembered the cosmic code, it would remember its sovereignty. Astrology reveals that destiny is not dictated by kings, but by the cosmos. Kundalini reveals that divinity is not in temples, but in the body. Together, they make the human being a microcosm of the universe, a sovereign star. Control systems cannot tolerate sovereignty, so the serpent was demonized. The zodiac was trivialized. Humanity was cut off from its axis. The shadow of forgetting. For centuries, astrology survived only as parlor trick, stripped of its initiatory depth. People read horoscopes in newspapers, unaware that behind Aries and Scorpio lay a ladder of fire in their own spine. The serpent was feared, the stars forgotten, the code suppressed. Humanity slept. But suppression is never final. The archetypes wait, myths endure, serpents shed their skin, stars keep turning. The cosmic code remains, waiting for rediscovery. Signs of return. Today, interest in astrology surges once more. Millions seek horoscopes, charts, cosmic patterns. But deeper still, people feel the serpent in meditation, yoga, trance. Science begins to rediscover what myth always knew, that we are vibrational beings, resonant with stars. The suppression is ending, the code returns. But to embrace it requires courage, to face the serpent without fear, to see astrology not as prediction, but initiation, to reclaim what was hidden. We have traced the long shadow, the demonization of the serpent, the erasure of Ophiuchus, the trivialization of astrology, the banishment of cosmic fire from body and sky. But night cannot last forever. In the next and final part, we will see the dawn, the return of the serpent of light, the reawakening of humanity's cosmic destiny, and the rebirth of astrology as the map of awakening. For the serpent rises again. The stars still turn, and destiny waits at the axis. The dawn after suppression. Every night has its dawn. Every cycle of suppression eventually yields to renewal. For centuries, the serpent was demonized, the zodiac ridiculed, the cosmic code buried beneath fear and skepticism. Yet, even in the darkest times, the serpent never died. It slept, coiled at the base of the spine. The stars continued to sing overhead, whispering their truths to those who still had ears to hear. And now, in our time, the serpent stirs once more. Across the world, seekers are reawakening to yoga, to meditation, to astrology, to the living fire within. Science begins to glimpse what mystics always knew, that light sings in our DNA, that vibration shapes matter, that consciousness is not confined to brain tissue, but woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. The suppression is ending. The serpent of light is returning. The serpent rising globally. For the first time in history, the teachings once locked away in temples and mystery schools are accessible globally. The yoga of India, the astrology of Babylon, the alchemy of Egypt, the serpent myths of the Americas, all now converge. This convergence is not coincidence. It is initiation on a planetary scale. Kundalini, once whispered of in secret, is now rising openly. Astrology, once mocked, is now embraced by millions. Meditation, once fringe, is prescribed by doctors. The serpent is weaving its coils not just in individuals, but in humanity itself. We are the generation witnessing the serpent's return. The serpent of light. The ancients spoke of many serpents, Draco, Hydra, Quetzalcoatl, Naga, but they also spoke of a future serpent, one of light. In Egypt, the Uraeus serpent rose from the brow of the pharaoh as radiant flame. In Mesoamerica, Quetzalcoatl was the feathered serpent who promised to return at the end of cycles. In Christian mysticism, Christ was lifted as the bronze serpent in the wilderness. In prophecy after prophecy, the serpent that was once feared returns transfigured, as illumination, as healing, as guide. This is not myth. It is archetype unfolding. The serpent of light is the awakened Kundalini, the fire that rises not in secrecy, but in radiance, guiding humanity into a new epoch. The Zodiac reclaimed. The Zodiac, too, is being reclaimed, not as horoscope entertainment, but as cosmic initiation. Seekers rediscover that Aries is not just energetic, but the ignition of fire at the skull. That Scorpio is not just intense, but the trial of sexual alchemy. That Pisces is not just dreamy, but the oceanic dissolution of self. Astrology, once trivialized, is remembered as a map of awakening. And Ophiuchus, the forgotten 13th, begins to whisper again, reminding us that the path is not about personality traits, but about healing, transcendence, freedom. The stars no longer enslave us. They invite us to join them. Humanity as cosmic serpent. Look at the Earth from space, and you will see humanity coiling across continents, roads, rivers of light, digital networks winding like veins. We are becoming the planetary serpent, a collective nervous system awakening. Our technology mirrors our biology. The Internet is the externalized nervous system. DNA research reveals serpentine codes. Sound healing, frequency medicine, and energy work rediscover vibration as the root of life. The serpent has always been within us.
Now it is awakening in the species as a whole. Humanity itself is the serpent of light, rising through cycles, shedding skins of war, ignorance, and fear. The prophecy of the ages. Nearly every culture held a prophecy of an age when darkness would break, when humanity would awaken, when the serpent would return. The Hindus spoke of Kalki and the end of Kali Yuga. The Mayans spoke of the end of the fifth sun and the return of Quetzalcoatl. The Christians spoke of revelation, a serpent, a dragon, a new heaven and earth. Indigenous shamans spoke of the rainbow serpent, uniting sky and earth. Different names, one prophecy. The serpent rises, and with it, human destiny. We are living in that time.
The union of above and below. In part 1, we saw the celestial serpent, Draco, winding the pole. In part 2, we saw the 12 gates of the spine. In part 3, we met Ophiuchus, the serpent-bearer. In part 4, we walked the 12 initiations. In part 5, we saw the suppression. Now, in part 6, we witness the union. The serpent above and the serpent below meet. The stars in the sky and the stars in our DNA converge. The zodiac is no longer distant, it is embodied. Kundalini is no longer hidden, it is awakened. This union is the birth of a new axis, the axis of humanity awakened. Destiny beyond prediction. Astrology is often accused of being fatalistic, telling us who we are, what will happen, what cannot be changed. But true astrology was never about fate. It was about initiation. The serpent of light teaches this truth. Destiny is not what happens to us. Destiny is what awakens in us. The zodiac is not a prison of stars. It is a ladder of light. And Kundalini is the serpent that climbs it. To embrace the serpent is to step into freedom. To reject it is to remain bound.
The call of the serpent of light. The serpent calls now more urgently than ever. You feel it in your spine when you meditate. You feel it in your dreams when serpents appear. You feel it when you gaze at the stars and sense something stirring. This is not imagination, it is invitation. Humanity stands at a threshold. The serpent of light is not coming to a chosen few, but to all. The zodiac is no longer secret, but shared. The fire is no longer forbidden, but offered. The question is simple: will we rise with it? The vision of the future. Imagine a world where Kundalini is no longer hidden, where every child learns to breathe, to feel energy, to honor the serpent within. Imagine astrology not as superstition, but as a cosmic curriculum, teaching us the rhythms of life, the gates of awakening. Imagine humanity as Ophiuchus, serpent in hand, healed and healing. Imagine the zodiac not as fate, but as music, a symphony of archetypes we each learn to play. This is not utopia, it is destiny waiting to be claimed. The serpent has been suppressed, demonized, forgotten, but it has returned again and again, shedding skins, changing forms.
And now, at the dawn of a new age, it returns not as shadow, but as light. The serpent above coils in the stars. The serpent below rises in the spine. Together they blaze as the serpent of light, humanity's forgotten destiny now remembered. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a higher cycle. The zodiac turns, but the serpent ascends. You were born under signs. You carry constellations in your bones. You are the serpent coiled at the root, waiting to rise. The stars are not telling your future. They are reminding you of your origin. They are calling you home. For you are the serpent of light, and your destiny is written not in fate, but in fire.
There are moments when history folds in on itself, when what was forgotten begins to breathe again, when ancient symbols stir in dream and vision. We are in such a moment now. The serpent has returned, not as predator, not as devil, but as teacher. It coils once more in the roots of our bodies and in the arms of the constellations above, waiting for those with eyes to see. Look at the sky. Draco encircles eternity. Hydra flows endlessly. Ophiuchus holds the serpent in his hands. They are not random patterns of stars. They are mirrors of the ascent you are already living. The zodiac, 12 signs, 12 gates, is not out there. It is in here, written in vertebrae and chakras, in breath and flame. The ancients knew this. That is why they crowned pharaohs with serpents, why they built temples aligned to stars, why they told stories of dragons guarding golden apples, nagas bearing hidden treasures, rainbow serpents carving rivers through earth.
They were not simply telling myths. They were leaving maps. And we, the inheritors of forgetting, now rediscover them. We begin to remember that astrology is not a newspaper horoscope, but the music of the cosmos playing in our blood. We begin to sense that Kundalini is not a superstition, but the fire of transformation, coiled and waiting in every one of us. We begin to feel the resonance between star and spine, above and below, serpent and light. The question is no longer whether the serpent exists. It has always existed. The question is whether we will rise with it. Humanity stands at a threshold. For too long, we were told that destiny lies in the hands of kings, priests, algorithms, authorities. But the serpent whispers a different truth. Destiny is not dictated. It is awakened. The zodiac is not a prison of fate, but a ladder of freedom. The serpent of light is not a curse, but a crown.
When the fire ascends, when the gates open, when the stars are recognized in our bones, we discover that we are not separate from the cosmos. We are the cosmos, awakening to itself. So tonight, step outside, look up, let the stars speak again. Then close your eyes, feel the stir at the base of your spine. Recognize the same serpent, the same fire. Know that above and below are not two, but one.
The ancients called this the Great Remembering. We might call it awakening. And when it comes fully, not to a few, but to the many, the serpent will no longer be feared, nor the stars ignored. Humanity will rise as Ophiuchus risen, serpent in hand, light in brow, destiny fulfilled. For the serpent and the stars were never apart. They were only waiting for us to remember. And now we do.